Let's see. Are we live? I think we are live. So let's sit here, let's chat, let's talk about what's going on. So, father's rights. What does that mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me? It's tough. I'm dealing with something right now. I'm trying to help something out. I got to start this video off by saying I'm not a lawyer, but I've dealt with many father's rights issues and cases, fighting from living in the United Kingdom to fighting in the United States. And I'm not an idiot, so I know how to read. And I've been asked to help someone. I'm going to leave everybody nameless, but I'm helping somebody with a battle. And as a father, it is hard to understand. It is hard to fathom how. And we live in a society where they say the mother and the father are both equal. Yeah, the mother and father are both equal. But if you want to see your child, you as the father got to fight in court and spend thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds to see your child. And I'm going to say a friend of mine is going through a battle. And so since I am pretty versed at dealing with the courts, I'm helping write the arguments for this case. And to give a little background in this case is this father has been in the child's life from birth, has always been there. Yet, remarkably, the mother passed away 2 years ago. Surprisingly, out of nowhere. And here he is battling with a third party, which I will call a third party. In this case, I know exactly who the third party is, but I got to keep it very vague. He is fighting this third party who is like the grandmother or the aunt or the third party, somebody who's not the mom or not the dad. And at the passing of the mother, this father immediately reached out when he got the news and said, "Where's my son?" More or less, "Where's my son? I'd like to, can you please make arrangements to have my son brought to me so I can take care of my son in this time of need?" And he was not handed over. Subsequently, this third party, a very close relative of the mother, filed a motion, and they've been battling it in court for the last 18 months. 18 months, more or less. And he still doesn't have his father. He has to go to court next month sometime. And so I'm trying to help write and research and understand the state in which he lives in and understand the family law. In America, family law with the mother and father, they use what's called best interest of the child. And that's what they use to decide who should get custody of a child. And I'll share with you something here. I think I can share it here. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I've been looking at. And it's this document here that basically lays out why you should give parental treatment to the surviving parent. And this is all in the state of Georgia. And so I've been reading this Supreme Court opinion and trying to identify the strategy in which we're going to talk to the judge, the strategy in which we're going to put in the documents to submit to the court. Because it's finally time to get in front of a judge and argue this case, which is insane when you think about it, that you are a father, the lone surviving parent. And as a father, a black man who has this whole stereotype of not being in the child's life is fighting a third party who might have all good intentions in their heart. But you have to fight this person to have your son turned over into your care. Now, every case is different. Everything is different. So there's no, cookie size way to look at it, right? But as I read this thing, right, there's an interesting part that I've looked into. It was on page 6, I believe it was. And you have to read, like, you don't need to be a lawyer to understand law. You just need to be a person of sound mind who can understand, just what you want to say to a judge. When you go into, when you go into court, you got to just be able to speak clearly. You got to be able to think rationally. And you just have to articulate the law. When you have the law on your side, you have to articulate the law. And when you have the facts on your side, you have to articulate the facts. And when there is a mix between the two, you got to try to find a creative way to argue those. But one thing that I found in this Georgia legislator, they changed the law governing third-party custody disputes. And one of the things that this third party has to come up with and really get to a high level is what is not changed in this thing is that the parent, there's a presumption that the parent, not the third party, is a fit person. Second, the fit person acts in the best interest of his or her child. And third, the child's best interest is to be, which is important, the child's best interest is to be in the parent's custody. Not the third party, but the custody of the parent. And this man is fighting tooth and nail to get this child in his care against a third party who, by my understanding, has good intentions. You got to assume they got good intentions. So let me get to some of these questions or the comments that are coming in. Let me say hi to Sang. Let me say hi to Carly, my regulars who always join with me. But Intellectual Nerd said, what happened? I just joined. So nothing's happened to me. Okay? This doesn't necessarily impact me directly. I've just been asked to help. And so I've been reading. I've gotten all the files. I literally have every single file of the case on my computer. And I'm just going to burn the night oil because I really am a man with no time. But I'm trying to find a way to develop what our strategy will be when we go to court, when this person has to go to court. Because this is a case that's pretty black and white. However, when you're in front of a judge, anything can go. And so we need to argue the law. The law is on this surviving parent's side. That is where the law is at. The law is pretty clear, The Georgia General Assembly intended to replace the parental unfitness standard with the best interest of the child, which is what the U.S. uses. In most states, it's always the best interest of this child. And I could pull up what that actually is. There's actually a standard of 16 points, if I'm not mistaken, that you have to meet to understand the best interest of the child. And, but that's just how it is. So, you have to... The child's interest is safe, secure environment that promotes his or her physical, mental, and emotional development. In considering what is the best interest of the child, the trial court may consider the historical relationship with the parent or the child's relationship with the third-party custodian. And that's what this battle is about, against a third party. And it's amazing how a father, can have the mother of his child pass away tragically, which is a tragedy. And he still has to fight for his children. It is absolutely insane. Something is wrong with this world we live in, where you can have that, where you can have a father constantly trying to fight. I see and understand why fathers give up when it comes to these court cases, because it is tiring and expensive and just ridiculous at a lot of times. And I think I found on this one, again, more on this Georgia law, and it was playing how what they intended as the best interest of the child. And I think this is what we're going to have to argue. The third party must show that an award of custody to him or her will best promote the child's health, welfare, and happiness. And there's this thing about harm. It's requiring the third party to show that the parental custody would harm the child, to rebut the statutory presumption in favor of the parent. You gotta realize if you're a parent and the other party dies, the statute in this state, for example, the statutory understanding is it's presumed that you are the father. You're not the father, but you are the fit parent, whether it's the father that dies or the mother that dies. That is what the assumption is. But look at this case they have to rise to. By harm, we mean either physical harm or a significant long-term emotional harm. Not something short, not something that we got to get over with in the next year or two. We're talking long-term, detrimental to this child. And then it's also, and I love that they have it here, and this is where we're going to have to argue, because this is what we're arguing. In addition, we note that the death of a parent, divorce or change in home, in school, will often be difficult for a child, but some level of stress and discomfort may be warranted when the goal is reunification of the child with the parent. And so what I'm seeing from the third party, they're arguing that, the father is unfit, which is there's no finding of such a thing. There's no, the child is anxious and has anxiety. Okay, yes. In his traumatic experience. Yes. The mother is dead, and that is tragic. It is very, very tragic. And so I think these points here on page 10 and page 6, I believe, of what is this document called? This is from the Supreme Court of Georgia decisions. And this is all stuff that anybody can look up. So when it comes to fighting for your children, this is what, you end up having to do. You have to take the time to argue your case with the law, especially if you have the law on your side, which is a rarity, but you can have it. So, we're going to argue Clark v. Wade of the Supreme Court of Georgia, and we're going to use that, and we're going to use points from this document. It's a long document. I think this document consists of 24 pages. I've just read it cover to cover. Literally, I've just spent the last 20 minutes, I would say 45 minutes or so, reading this thing cover to cover. And this part right here, to me, is our cogent point that we need to make. And it's just, I just get tired of this notion that black fathers aren't around, that fathers aren't, black fathers aren't in our children's lives. Heck, my children live, away from me, and I do the best that I can with the circumstances that I find myself in. That doesn't mean I've abandoned my children. I love my children. Oh, Carly, it's very heartbreaking to see that the mother passed away. And there's more to it, how the mother passed away and the child was there when the mother passed away. The child, the mother was playing with the child when it happened. So you're talking about something that is extremely, extremely challenging for both the child, the third party, and the father. This is hard to overcome. Who wants to be there when your mother passes away? That's hard to deal with when you're a kid. Let's see here. Let me read some of these comments. Let me read. Unless proven unfit to be a parent, the father should get automatic custodial rights. To give a child to the family of the deceased parent is disgraceful. Correct. I agree. It's totally disgraceful. Totally disgraceful. That how can you give it to the third party? Now, no finding has been given. We got to go to court in a couple weeks. But basically, they had a lawyer. That lawyer has bled them dry. They have run out of money to fight this. So now I got to help them come up with a Hail Mary. It's not really a Hail Mary. You have the law on your side. And you also have the facts on your side. There's parts you can always argue, But, he should have his son. Yeah, let's read some more of these comments. I agree with, intellectual nerd, I agree with sit and spin. I agree as well. Very heartbreaking. The mom passed away. Oh, no, don't tell me that, Carl. Yes, that's what happened. Can't really help with U.S. laws, but in the UK, the child would automatically go to the other parent unless there was already an order in place to deny custody. Yes, Matt Pankin. There is no. Okay, let me rewind a little bit. At the beginning, when this happened in 2021. So we're going almost 2 years. Like around, I know the exact date, but I want to try to keep it as vague as possible. So let's just say between March and June is when this the mother passed away. But so it happened then, and they've been fighting since the end of June in court, and there was an emergency petition filed. And I said, great, emergency petition. This is easy. I looked up these cases. I said, this is what we need to file. I helped and wrote the response to the emergency petition before he had time to get a lawyer. So I wrote that, and we submitted that. And we argued this same case, that the presumption by the Constitution of the state says that the father should have custody. That's what the presumption Constitution of the state of Georgia says. Secondly, we argued what the Supreme Court has said in other cases that involve a third party. So the law is on his side. And what was crazy is the judge granted what's called a guardian ad litem, or somebody that advocates on the behalf of the child, based off of literally a 150-word motion, or what's called the emergency petition. And within that 100, 200 words, what's in that 200 words, what's in that 200 words, what's in that 200-word motion is that there's just an allegation, and I'm talking like 4 letters, 4 words, allegation, like, just alleges abuse, alleges this. It doesn't draw out any facts. It just alleges it. And I'm like, that's enough to put in a guardian ad litem? Anybody could come with an emergency petition and just make it an allegation, but it's unfounded, And within that time, what's sad is, and there's another part we need to argue, is that this father has had another child in that time. And so what are you going to say? He's fit to be the parent of the new child, but unfit to be the father and the custodial parent of the existing child, which is who is not a teenager, but is not like a toddler, which is older than 5. It's insane. So that's what I mean when I say we have the law on our side, and then we also have the facts on our side. And these are the arguments that we're going to have to make as we read this document. More comments are coming through, so let me read some. Carly, poor child. Can't you ask your friend, the judge, for some advice? LC, yes. Can I call my friend who is a judge for some advice? I could, but I don't think I need to lean on that. And I don't know if he would want to help. I don't really want to get involved with my friend who is a judge, but in a different state, because I don't, the laws in every state is different. So, this is the denial of human rights, not just parental rights. It's almost like the child is a replacement for the child's maternal grandparents' loss. It's not the grandparent, I should say. It's not the grandparents, but it's someone just as close. And it's hard, Carly, for the child. I agree. The child has been getting care, been going to therapy, been doing all those things. Both parties are taking this child to the doctor, to the therapist, to the thing. But it's sad to think that, this man has to fight for his child. Here he is, a grown man. The death of the mother is tragic enough. And you're thinking, you had to fight her in court when she was alive to be able to see your son. Then she suddenly tragically passes away, and now you got to fight a whole nother third party to say that you are the father. Insane. What kind of world are we living in where this has to be the case, And let's never forget. Oh, and also what I need to say is this third party is asking for significant relief from the court, not only for custody out of this particular state, from the state of Georgia, saying, Judge from the state of Georgia, please grant me sole custody of this child. But secondly, please allow me to move the child out of your jurisdiction to an entirely another state. Let's say New York. I know the state, but I can't tell you the state. wants to move to New York. So from the South, from the South all the way up to the Northeast, for example, please let me do that so that the child will move to a state never lived in, have friends, don't have no friends there, never been to school there, but then be deprived of building the bond and relationship with his less than 3-year-old sibling. Insane of a requirement that this third party, and the gall, I think to me it's like the gall of a person to know that there's a father there who asked immediately upon being notified of the passing of the mother, okay, where's my son? So where can I come collect my son so I can take care of my son? And has been denied. Now, he's seen his son ever since. He's been seeing it back and forth, but this all started on an emergency petition, back and forth with lawyers, back and forth. And here we are now, 2-3 weeks from court. And it's just insane, man. It's just insane that something like this could happen. Carl, unfortunately, the court will always take the side of where the child is living. Do not dispute the child. It's very sad. Now, here's the thing, Damien. That's a good point that you raised. This third party doesn't even live in the state. Okay? So let's just break it down. Let's imagine we are all living in London right now. The third party lives as far away as like Belgium, okay? And has flown in to the state and flies back and forth and leaves the child with another third party, or a set of third parties, when that person has to go back to air quote Belgium. That's the distance we're talking about here. So this third party doesn't even reside in the state, never has. This boy lives like down the street from his father when the mother was alive. No more than like 2 miles. So, it's just like I've been screaming because I'm just so infuriated. It's just infuriating that a father has to go through such leaps and bounds to be a father. Hey, hit that like button for me though, guys. I appreciate that if you can. So this is one document that I've been reading. Let me see if I can pull up another document, which again, this argues the law. And there's another document that I have here. I can't pull up the court motions. I can't do that because that'll show everybody's name. But what I could do is show, what document is this? Document is this? Oh yeah, it's this. It says the same thing though. Let's see if I can pull this up. Let's see how I'll pull this up for you guys. Let me add this new document. Document. And this is, document 2. Sorry, 1 second. Let me pull this document up. This is this document. Yeah, let me pull that document up. Right. There we go. So here's another document. Let me get it all in there so it's all visible. Mute that so everybody can see. And so within this document, this is one that deals with not only like how you as a father could lose to whom parental power lies. So this document is in the Georgia Code. And that's it. We're going to argue the law. Who the power lies with, how such power can be lost, and recovery for homicide of child. So in case of a child death, this is the statutes that cover all that kind of stuff. So this basically says that, until the age of 18, our child becomes emancipated. It means you're free from a parent or guardian. The parent is entitled. The only way to lose parental power is 1, voluntary contact release. So I just say I release it to a third party. Consent of an adoption to a third party. Failure to provide necessaries for the child or abatement of the child. So I just leave you and I say I abandon you. There's 4, consent of the child receiving that's if he works. That's usually like child acting laws. Consent to marriage, but this is a boy. and cruel treatment of a boy. So here's again what we're going to argue in terms of the law. And this is stuff we have to write in the motion or in our affidavit of facts that we need to submit to the court. Is you'd have to show cruelty of the child. You have to you have to reach a high burden because she's asking for sole, I probably didn't say this. She's asking for sole legal custody. What is sole legal custody and physical custody? Those are two different things. Sole legal custody says you are no longer a parent. You can't make a decision of this child. You have zero legal rights to this child as solely if you have 0% legal custody. Now you can have 0% physical custody. Like in my case, I technically in my order have zero physical custody, but I do because at the time of the order, they never stayed overnight. But now they do stay overnight. So I do have some percentage of physical custody, but that's neither here nor there. But I still have legal custody. I'm still 50-50 parent, And so I've been reading this. And these are the type of things. There shall be a rebuttal presumption that it is in the best interest of the child or the children for custody to be awarded to the parent or parents of such of the children, but the presumption may be overcome by showing that an award of custody to a third party is in the best interest of the child. The sole issue for determination in any such case shall be what is in the best interest of the child or the children. So, this is the level. This is the level she has to rise to. This is the type of stuff that we're talking about. So let me get to some of these. Let me get to some of these comments. Yeah, when you got these children, it is hard. I mean, you have to fight tooth and nail. I would really have, let me see. Let me read some of these comments. So Damien has 5 children. That's right. Don't you have a grandchild as well, Damien? Yeah, Carly, you would assume if something happens to you, your children would go to their dad. But what happens when a third party says, "Hey, what about me? I want them," and then makes a one sentence allegation against the father, and the court uses that allegation as justification to add a guardian ad litem or like an advocate for the child who can speak, because the child can't speak in court, but you can get that guardian ad litem to speak. It then says, we're going to put a temporary order that says we're going to leave the child with the third party and you guys are going to have visitation. What kind of insane world is that? How about bring the child to the lone surviving parent and the third party can have visitation. Intellectual nerd. Dang saying, don't say that. This case reminds me of the works of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who took such cases as lawyers and decided on such cases in U.S. Supreme Court judge, which were based on gender discrimination. Yeah, I'm here. He's a good dad. Carl, yes, I have a grandchild on the way next Easter. Glad you remember. Yeah, I remember. You guys are my regulars, Damien. So, of course, we always interact. And so I remember what's going on. Yeah. And so, you imagine reading all of this and you're going, this is insane that here he is as a father trying to fight for his child, trying to see his child, unable to, and the third party wants to take the child out of the state. I bet it's a girl. Yeah, I'm a girl dad, so, I hope it's a girl as well. But yeah, this is what's going on for me. I thought I would just kind of go live, share a little bit of what I'm about to be doing for the next hour. Last night I didn't get no sleep. I must have worked on this and started typing up stuff till about 4 or 5 in the morning. And then and only then did I get some sleep and then had to get up. So I'm working off like lots of tea, lots of energy drinks, and a lot of emotions because I got to handle the day-to-day stuff. And now I got to find time because, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not an idiot and I can read. And I'll tell you what made me get so be an advocate for fathers' rights is the first time I had to go to court and the other party had a lawyer and And that lawyer ran circles around me on the first go. And I said, I'm never going to walk in court and feel like an idiot again. And so I went and started reading everything about court in California, what the rules were and what the standards were, which is called the child's best interest. There's 16 factors for child's best interest. And I was ready, and I'm ready and ready and ready. So when it came time to go the second, third, fourth, fifth, I think I've been to court like 10 times now. I was ready to whack-a-mole. So I was ready to go. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, but see, you didn't lack for your biological father. But see, these cases and what this court case, if you read it all the way down, what it really argues about is instances where there is an adoptive father, a stepdad in the picture. I can understand that instance where you might say, well, the child has been living with the stepfather and the mother for 5-10 years, right? And of course, the mother passed away. Well, there's a close relationship with the father. And if the father, the stepdad, and if the biological father is not around per se, I can understand why you would want to grant custody there and say, okay, we're going to leave the child in that home because that's the child's home. No, this is a case where the third party never lived in the state, never lived with the child. Never. Only up until the point where the mother died. So that to me is, the issue that I think we're fighting. And again, we're going to argue the law and we're going to argue the facts. And we're going to do the best that we can with either one of them. And that's all we can do. So, I just thought I'd go in there and show you what I'm doing. Let's see here. This isn't the step family. This is the biological family. This is the matriarchic side of the family. So this is the female side of the sister of the mother. So just trying not to say who. I guess, of course, I literally have it all right here, in front of me. So I got to get going. I just wanted to go live for a little bit and just talk to you guys and share what's going on. And like I said, I'm going to keep trying to make interesting live conversations and interesting live videos and stuff like that. And just let you know what's going on with International Carl as I try to help other people. In other news, I just posted it on my page, is I just donated $25,000 to my university. Today I had a nice 2-hour conversation to finalize it all today. But that's neither here nor there. That's not part of the video, but that's what we've been talking about. And that's what's been going on with me today. So, yes. 2 girls, 1 in heaven, and my rainbow girl. Yes, thank you, saying I will assist. Hopefully, I can give an update in the next coming weeks. I think we need to get a continuance, which means to just move the court case out a couple more weeks. So maybe pushing into the early new year, just because we need time to get the case, get the documents ready. So. Quiz Sunday, Carly wants to know. Yes, I don't see why we wouldn't have Quiz Sunday. I don't see why we wouldn't. We should have a quiz on Sunday. I should be free. And I actually had time to go to the gym, Bannatynes. So I just come from the gym. I squeezed in a good cardio workout today at Mr. Bannatyne. So we're going to leave it here. We're going to sign this video off. And yeah, I will see Carly, Damien, Sit and Spin, and the rest of the gang on Sunday. Unless I go live between now and then. But Damien says, I don't know how to react to that. Carly, I have 5 children. People ask me, boys or girls? And I say, yes, one of each. There it is. Okay, let me press the end button here. It's been 35 minutes because I got stuff to do. All right, Carly, we'll see you on Sunday, okay? We'll see everybody Sunday. Peace.